chamber. Those are three big words. A sensory deprivation chamber was a room where they took a person and put him in a suit, like a wetsuit, where he couldn't feel anything in his body. And they floated him on water. And the water was exactly the same temperature as his body, so he couldn't feel anything. And they made the room completely and totally dark. And it was totally silent. And the air was fresh air that came in, but it had no smells to it. And of course, the person wasn't eating, so there was no taste. So they took people and put them in this chamber, in this room, to see how long they could last without getting any information from their senses. Can you imagine being in such a room? Floating there, can't hear, can't see, can't taste, can't smell. How long were they able to survive in the room? So, to tell you the truth, I don't know. But one thing I can tell you for sure is that the ability to survive, if you're not getting information from the outside, if you're not getting light and sound from the outside, depends on how much light and how much sound is coming from the inside. How much do you have on the inside? In Choshech Mitzrayim, it was a matzav where the darkness was so complete that there was no information coming from the outside. But the Torah tells us that in all the houses of the Klal Yisrael there was or b'moshev oisel, that there was light in the places where they lived. You know why? Because the Jews knew, the Yidden knew that they had a light on the inside. And if a person knows on the inside that he's important, on the inside that he's chashuv, on the inside that Hashem loves him, then it could be that everybody in the world outside of him might be telling him the opposite. But if he knows that he has it on the inside, then wherever he goes, he has light. But if a person doesn't have it coming from the outside, and he doesn't have it coming from the inside, so, my Rebbe's Rebbe, the Alter from Slobodka, said that if you could take a person and hold him by his ankles and shake him, and all his feelings of being important, you could shake out all his chashivas. If you didn't feel that he had a special neshama within him, if you could take away all his kavod, he said a person couldn't live. So it could be maybe that's why so many of the Yidden in Makas Choshech that they didn't survive. Because if there was nothing coming from the outside, and they had nothing coming from the inside, then how's a person supposed to survive? In my very small opinion, what's one of the great merits of being able to hear from a Rebbe is that even if we live in a time of darkness, and even if we live in a time of difficulty, the great tzaddikim are the ones who teach us that it might be dark on the outside, but for a Jew, it's always light on the inside. That you have a beautiful neshama which is part of Hashem, that Hashem loves you. And no matter how big the challenges and how great the darkness that we might be surrounded in, we have to know that wherever we go as Yidden, that there's always a very bright light that's shining within us. I know that everyone who has had the opportunity to speak with the Rebbe and to hear him speak the time he's been in Los Angeles has felt that there's been a light that's been turned on. In Los Angeles, in Ruchnias, sometimes it can feel dark. But when you have someone with the Rebbe's ahava and the Rebbe's knowledge of Torah and his ability to speak to all different types of people at their level, then wherever we are and wherever we go and whatever we might think, we know that they might be closing off the information from the outside, but we have a whole rich, very bright and very beautiful world on the inside. And therefore it's a tremendous chus for us and a great opportunity to hear these words of Torah and these words of bracha from the Tolner Rebbe Shlita.
Your principal said very nice things about me, and I must admit that he was overdoing it. I'm not such a special person. I do love Jewish people, as everybody loves, Baruch Hashem, Jewish people. I am very happy to be here in LA and to see children that have a lot of light on their face in every age. This is a miracle. To be in America, to see such children, this is a miracle. And we have to thank God about this miracle. We thank all the people that have a zchus to be here as educators, teachers, anoshim, and those who are standing behind to support this place. Baruch Hashem, Hashevach v'yidoy l'Kadosh Baruch. I want to tell you a very short memory from my Elder Zaidi, David Tolner. He said something about this parsha, a very interesting thing. I think it will be for you as an educator for your future. I think everybody can make a use from this memory that my Elder Zaidi said. He asked the question. Torah says that when it was Makas Bechoros, it was a big miracle in Mitzrayim that the dogs were quiet. Lo yechras kelev leshoinoi. A dog is billing. How do you say to bill? Of English is to bill?
Bark.
Bark. With a B?
With a B.
To bark. This is the nature of a dog, to bark. If he sees something, if he hears something, he's barking. And here, in this night, all the dogs in Mitzrayim were silent. And God gave them, the Rebbe gave them a schar. What was the prize? Because they were silent, the Jewish people, all the years, if it will happen to be that they will have B'sar Treifo, they will take the B'sar Treifo, la kelev tashlichun oisei. Give it for the dog. It's a possible. So you know that people are eating a lot of meat. And a lot of generations that Jewish people are eating meat. So the dogs are getting a moiridik schar. Hundreds of years and hundreds and thousands of meat that will be treife is going to every dog that is near to a Jewish man. This is a gewaltige schar of alle doyres. So my Elder Zaidi asked the question. In the previous parsha, we know about the Tzfardim. The Tzfardim showed a very big thing. They went in the oven when the oven was boiling, when it was hot. And God made them a miracle they shouldn't die. So my Zaidi asked, who made a bigger thing? The Tzfardim that went in the fire, or the dogs that didn't bark? Who made more major thing? He's going in the fire. So what is the schar that he's getting? That he's not getting born. But how long will he live, the Tzfardeya? How long lives the Tzfardeya? I don't know. You know about Tzfardim? We have to know everything. We have to know everything. According to the Gemara Masechet B'choros Lichaoire, is the Tzfardeya lefi erech. What I know, a Tzfardeya can live 4 years, and maximum is 5 years. So what was with this Tzfardim that went in the oven, and nothing happened to them? How long did they live after that? 3 years, 4 years? They died. So the socho is not so big. The price that they got is not so big. The dogs got such a socho that every dog in every generation will have to eat meat from Jewish people. If you are going near to the butcher, he has a lot of pieces of meat that he cannot use because it is treife. La kelev tashlichun oisei. So why the dogs got a bigger socho than the Tzfardim? This is my Zaydi's kasha. Starke kasha. So he said something very interesting. It is easier to go even in fire than to be a king of your will. A dog wants to bark. He is born with this nature, to bark. And he has to be very strong not to bark. 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. As we understand, if you want an example, children love to go around. They cannot sit of one place. This is a child. So take a child and give him a punishment. Don't move. 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. It's a horrible punishment. Because he wants to move. This is his nature. And he has to be so strong. No, don't move. How long? You already talked about somebody in this room. How long? I don't know. But to take a child, he shouldn't move. Never ever. You cannot do it. This is his nature. This is his spirit. He needs to move. A dog needs to bark. He's just a dog. He didn't learn Yom Cheder, this dog. He's not a Rebbe, he's not a pupil. He's a dog. And he wants, with every piece of his body, to bark. This is his nature. And the dogs made a huge walk. We are not barking, not barking, not barking. 1 minute after a minute after a minute. This is something huge. The Tzfardea, she danced, she jumped in the fire. Okay, it's a big thing. But one thing, you're jumping in fire and that's it. So God is showing us, Rebbe shows us the way. If we have ability to take our wills and to control them, this is much bigger than even to go in fire for the Rebbe. More important. Who's Villa? You need something? No, if you need, you have to do it. We can mich zurückhalten, das retten wir doch jetzt. Oh, I would give. I get it. So I have to start again? Why not? I will do it. If the girls need to hear it, it is very important. Thank you.
Sorry about that.
So they didn't hear before?
I think they heard.
They heard. Yeah. kann sich nicht anhalten, der Machschef. So I'm repeating this idea from my elder Zaidi. It should be very, very clear to everybody that is sitting here. Agdoilim im aktanim. There are people that they are ready to go in fire. But if we will tell them, you have to be silent when you have to tell an interesting story to your friend, it will be harder for them. There are boys that are sitting in a shiur and they want to talk one with the other. And it's so hard, this will, that if you say, don't do it, it's not nice, it's hard for them. So those people that can even, we know children that they come to the 12, they say, I want to fast Yom Kippur. It's not easy. 24 hours not to eat. We have a lot of children that say, I want to fast Yom Kippur, and they're doing it. And the same child, if he has something to say, say, don't talk. Don't tell what you want to talk. He cannot stand it. It's easier to fast Yom Kippur and to be a shalit of your own will. This is easier. To go in fire, to fast, to do a lot of things, to run. But if you need to control yourself and not to tell a word, knowing that God, the Rebbe says, don't talk Lashon Hara, don't say a lie, don't talk about another friend, and you want to talk, you have such appetite to say something. If you want to scream of somebody, you want to insult somebody, you're staying against your friend, and you have something to say that you know that if you will say it, he will get embarrassed. And you want to do it because he have done for you something bad. And you're standing there in the middle of the fight, and you say, I won't say it. I won't say it. This is Ezeu Giboyer Akoivish Yitzroy. You have to be a hero for it. As it says, Amoishel Beruchoy Miloichet Ir. You can be such a hero to take a whole town as a big, big soldier. But you are weaker for somebody that stands there and says, I won't say what I want to say. I won't do what I want to do. To be there and control your wills if they are bad wills. So this is the memory from Zaidi of the parsha of the Tzvadim, the parsha of the dogs. And this is for us as a guidance. You are learning in a very good cheder, with very good melamdim, in a very big, nice place. In the circumstances around you are very good, and you can grow up from this place as Jewish people that oisim retzoy koin on the simcha. But you will have in your life a lot of nisyonis. Everybody has nisyonis. There are nisyonis in Inyonim from Kedusha, nisyonis in Inyonim from Benodom Lechaveroi. It's a very hard, tough world outside there. Very hard. In your education must lead you to be in such a stage that you will have the ability to say to yourself, I want to do something, but I know that the Torah says it's not good to do, so I will be strong as the dog. And I will be so strong not to do this thing that I have such an appetite to do. Not to do, not to say, not to think. Those are the things that I hope that with you Rebbes and in your place, you will have the right education to grow in this guidance and to be Erlich Yidin im Yetz Hashem, Oisim Retzoim Boiron Besimche. You will bring a lot of nachas to your parents. This is my blessing to the Rebbes, to the Menayim, to everybody here in this room, to everybody who hears us. Go ahead with your gewaldige gifts that God gave you, and remember that our purpose in life is to be a shalit of our wills. Not the wills are guiding us. The Ribono Shel Olam is guiding us. Torah is guiding us. The Koyitn Hashem v'cho Yosef, everybody of you, Yosef Hashem Alechem Kochem Elef Pe'omim, v'yivorech eschem kasher diber lochem. Thank you. Okay, boys, if we can start with the fourth grade. If everybody would please come up and greet the Rebbe, and then we can exit out. We can start with the Rebbe.